Now I'm going to invite 3 people to join me on stage. Fatie Toko from La Poste, Jamin from Air France, Simon Gros, who is an IBU expert for IBU. Hi everyone. Hi you all. So, to start and answer this question, how can conversation help brands to become more authentic? I'm going to start with a bit of a definition. What's authenticity, literally? And then I'm going to ask you, what's your definition in terms of authenticity when it comes to customer relationships? So, authenticity is when truth, reality, sincerity can't be questioned. Authenticity cannot be challenged. It's credible and convincing. According to a study from Authentic 100, all of the contents that are going to be mentioned in this conversation event will be sent to you by email at the end of the day. So according to this Authentic 100 study, only 7% of French people believe that brands are open and honest and authentic. I'm going to start with a bit of a challenge on Klaxoon. It's a bit of a challenge, so who is going to be the quickest? This study was carried out around a topic, around the following question. According to you, French people, who is the most authentic brand in France? And then we're going to see if one of you got the right answer. Just a bit of a clues. So it's an iAdvize client and in the luxury sector. This question, I'm going to ask it to Jamin at Air France. Air France is one of the top 25 companies that are the most authentic in France, so 24th company actually. For you, what is authenticity in customer relationship? Indeed. So we are ranking 24th in this ranking. 23rd is Disney, which is a much bigger company focused on leisure activities, and then 25th it's Lacoste, different vertical. And for us, authenticity, so we are a big group, large group, we are over 80 years old, an old lady, let's say, and we have 94 million passengers in 2016, 52,000 employees. I'm giving you numbers to illustrate, to show the importance, the size of our company and the fact that we are still authentic. For us, authenticity is the respect of our values. So for Air France, we have to respect the promise that we make our clients, our customers, that we've been making our clients for 8 years. Promise about safety, about service, promise of transport contract, and to be close to our clients wherever they are. Wherever they are, it means on the different channels, and wherever they are, all over the world. So it's about respecting the values, respecting our commitment, our promises that the Air France brands drives. So commitment. Fatie, if there is one brand that every single French person has been in touch with at least once in their life, it's La Poste. And it's not going to stop anytime soon. La Poste, what's authenticity for you? At La Poste, well, expectations are very, very high because there is the idea of trust. We are a trustworthy company. Authenticity is about trust, it's about proximity and simplicity, but mostly proximity. Today, we have an important challenge in terms of the digital transformation because French people, everybody in general, our clients are quite concerned about data protection. They have this feeling that companies want to make money out of them, that they are intrusive, and it is the postman that is facing the client that have to be the vector of this trust, of this proximity. Clients that are more and more concerned about their data being shared, that we're going to breach their trust, we're going to go back to conversation. But it's thanks to this conversation, to this human conversation with end users, that we can abide by our promise of being a trustworthy company. So to go back to the keywords, commitment, human, trust. And now before I give the floor to Simon, because we are on a new type of trust, new type of authenticity, let's take a look at the result of this challenge to this question? The answer was Chanel. Indeed, it was a challenge that was won by Rémi. Good job, Rémi. The top 10 of this company, we have mostly luxury type of company and automotive type of companies. So take a look at it if you're interested. Simon, we decided to invite you to this roundtable because you become a new type. You are a new type of respondent, a new type of authentic respondent. You are a member of the IBU community. So IBU is this community of experts that is offered to brands to address and provide answers to visitors by chat. So you are an IT expert of video games. So mostly video games. Can you tell us where your expertise comes from? Can you tell us how you share this expertise? Hi everyone, so I'm Simon. I'm an entrepreneur in the digital world. I'm 26 years old and since December have been part of the IBU community for Cdiscount on video games. I'm very happy that my long experience from when I was 9 years old to today of video games can make me money. So I make around 100 euros per week, between 60 and 200 euros every week. It depends on how much time I spend chatting. I joined this community in December 2016 and it enables me to have this, my professional activity and this chatting activity, because being an IBU expert doesn't take me too much time. I can provide quality type of answers while being a professional, because I have another activity. I work partly in my house. I work with 2 screens, so it's easy for me to chat for IBU and to work my other job. We have all played video games at least once in our lives. What makes you an expert? Well, I had a Game Boy when I was 8, PlayStation when I was 9, an Xbox, a GameCube. I know Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft very well. In terms of expertise and experience, I believe that I'm quite qualified. The questions that are asked for the experts are very difficult. I passed the test, I was selected, so it was an expertise that was recognized. It's an expertise, well, it's only video games, but it is what I can bring to customers who are looking for people with experience. And for them, it's quite useful because they can really find answers that will go beyond traditional customer care service. They will find the answers to what kind of products they would buy. It will have an influence on what they want to buy. What was interesting when we discussed together before this roundtable, you said that yes, you were all about authenticity, about sharing, but you did make a difference between your professional life and personal life. So talking about video games, usually it's part of a community. You never shared your pseudonym, your avatar while chatting with clients? No, not at all. When I chat with Cdiscount product, they are here to buy a product. Sometimes they say they want to know who I am when I play online because I want to play online with my friends. These people are clients. So even if I'm chatting with them in an authentic way, it's very different. So we try to define authenticity. Now, when we go a bit deeper, when we try to use more professional words, let's say more business type of words, there are 2 words that come out: the tone and personalization. So at La Poste, how do you do to go and find the clients, to go and bring them a personalized type of contact? First of all, I'm going to tell you how we go and get clients, and then I will tell you about the tone, because at La Poste, it's a real stake. So, about personalization. I didn't introduce myself. I'm manager of customer relation on laposte.fr, so the website. I'm going to tell you about personalization online, even if we are working on cross-channel type of issues. But I'm in charge of the online world at La Poste. What is extraordinary at La Poste is that it's very simple. Personalization is very simple. We have tags on the website and we know how to analyze the behavior of clients or prospects, because we are not in a subscription type of business, but in a recurring type of business. We know how to recognize people. We, in the self-care project, we have developed Le Petit Compagnon, which is kind of a box, like a self-care box, It's a dynamic FAQ that will change and adapt depending on the behavior of the customer on the website. It is an FAQ, but if it's not enough, then we can move towards a conversation. In 1 week, we will start working with Facebook Messenger that will enable us to bring conversation and to escalate from the dynamic FAQ towards conversation with an agent. In terms of personalization, we also launched a test 6 months ago. We are not into AI, but we are in semantic analysis. We have recognized words that are stressful. When our clients are not happy, they use words like never and always, because when they start saying these words, we know that we can escalate them directly towards a conversation with a human agent. If we have, it's just the beginning of semantic analysis, and we can only start forecasting the power of artificial intelligence. Now, when it comes to the funnel of purchase, we have great work with a company. I'm not going to name it, but it's based in Nantes. We work on personalization, how we can personalize the chatbot. Last year, we had worked on targeting strategy that were static ones. Then we moved to targeting strategies that were more dynamic. So based on how the client is behaving, we have to look at the chatbot. We are going to adapt this chatbox, and for 1 month, we have been testing predictive targeting, which is really the deep down personalization. So because of the behavior of the visitor, there are applied type of criteria that match what online users would do in a general basis, and thanks to that, we will be able to predict what the user might do. And so because of that, we know who we need to talk to at what time. We also have the opportunity to collect missed opportunities. For example, a client who is a missed opportunity that we know we're going to lose because they are having problem on a Sunday evening at 10 o'clock, we know that we can call these clients back the next day on Monday. So we are moving from predictivity towards the next day proximity, when we have a human calling you back or through Facebook Messenger that will go back to the conversation and support the client who needed help. So I believe that we are not at the end of personalization, but little by little we are doing lots of test and learn, and I believe that together with all of our partners we are testing things that are extremely interesting. And it's going to be very good when we can combine all these innovations. It goes together with what was said during the previous roundtable when they talked about chatbots and artificial intelligence. We bring the authenticity conversation, and you are the proof that they work together. You can go towards conversation, and you can combine it with personalization. David, at Air France, when we look at the way you developed customer relationship, the promise you bring your customers, your travelers, is to have considerate relationship. What's this considerate relation with your customers? So having a considerate relationship with your customers is about being there when the client needs you. With our constraints, but also on the chat that we've developed, a chat that we've implemented a few years ago and that works pretty well. We're going to have targeting rules, and we're going to have a chat pop-in that comes up when we believe, because we know our clients very well, when we believe that our client needs it. So we try to be there at the right time, at the right place, on the right page, to have to provide the right answer with experts that have the right knowledge. So it's about it's a little bit about predictive, but we don't have a predictive strategy per se, but we haven't gone that far yet, but we managed to show to see the behavior of our customers and to make the chat box appear when the client needs it most. What is special with the Air France client is quite special because they are everywhere. They're in their computer, on their phone, on their tablet, in the airport, in their home, in their office. We talked about personalization, we talked about data, having access to data. How do you do at Air France to make sure that you can offer a relationship that will be authentic and unique and singular to your clients? You said that there were a program that was developed to reach authenticity. Can you tell us about it? Yes, so the DMP. So what is the DMP? It's data management platform. Having a 360-degree vision about a client. So a client that buys a plane ticket or that will travel through Air France, it will bring data on the PNR. We'll have data about their Facebook profile. We'll get data from LinkedIn. We'll get data from all the networks, all the channels. And what we've implemented is this data management platform to collect this data and to make sure that we can target even better what the client will need and to provide answers. So we are organized today. We can collect this data. Now we need to work on the analysis of this data and to make sure that this analysis is relevant, to make sure that we understand better where our clients are and what they want. This is why we have call centers everywhere in the world. This is why we have centers, so in Rio, in Canton, and we have customer relationship centers everywhere in the world. The agents working in these centers will answer the clients, and we try to target the clients thanks to this DMP. We also have another tool thanks to this DMP. We have Marco. So Marco is a tool that the people who work in the airport have to collect all this data. And when the client has a problem or a question at the airport, we will be able to collect this data and say, okay, you are Mr. Mrs. Such, you're going to that place, you travel quite a lot. I know who you are, I've recognized you, and how can I help you? This tablet is at the airport, so we have also the same kind of tool on board with the pilot pen. It's quite new. When you step in an Air France flight, now, especially for long-haul flights, you will see the stewards and hostess with the tablet, and they will have all the information on the tablet on board, and you will get a considerate, privileged relationship whenever you are in touch with the client. It's the same on the phone. When a client will call you, we will recognize their phone number. We will have his profile appear on the screen, and we will know where the client have traveled. We'll know what their Flying Blue number. We'll know what their loyalty card is. So we'll be able to have this privileged, considerate relationship. And today, and I think it's the same at La Poste, we will have this recognition. And for us, the recognition from the client is extremely important. We need to focus on singularity to make the client feel unique. And it's something that we can do thanks to the different tools that we have. And we can see that it's working very well, especially thanks to the chat. For 2 years, we have had a 15 to 20% increase in click rates. And for conversion, the growth is very interesting. So, yes, the client needs it and start telling us, hey, I would like to see that more often. I would like the chat to appear more often. So, the client is recognized, stands out, and we recognize it because we have a considerate relationship with our clients. In terms of personalization, now I'm looking at Simon. So we understood that it was about expertise, your expertise about video games, we're not going to question it, but it's also about how you can fine-tune and personalize your conversations. And when we talked together the first time we met, you said that you had your personal touch. It's something that a chatbot will never be able to do. So can you tell us what you do, what it is that makes it so personal? Yes, I believe that there are different things that mean that a chatbot will never be able to replace a human, even if it can get closer to a human. I use smileys, for instance, so a chatbot could do that. I use smileys because I think it makes the conversation smoother. Then, some things that are related to technical support, let's say discount, are questions that could be asked to a chatbot, and a chatbot could manage them. But I would bring a more pleasant way. I say that I have empathy, the client knows that I'm understanding his problem, and the chatbot could not do that. Then there are other things. With experience, you realize that clients have the same kind of questions. They have the same kind of process of questions in mind. And so we can bring a more complete type of answers. We can give better answers. It goes through, for instance, giving out as many information as possible, or providing information that we can find online thanks to Google. We know that lots of clients don't know how to use Google, for instance. And so we are here to help them find information that we find on articles, YouTube videos, on products of any kind. And we do that better than chatbots because we bring a more customized information. Thanks to my experience as well, because I have already purchased video games. I know the system, I know how it works. So there is that. And a last point, so the troll, when on Ibu we are going to get qualified traffic, because we have people who want to buy on the video game department on the website, but we have people who are here to have fun, and they want to chat, and they make jokes, they want to test the person they are chatting with, and when they realize that when they are chatting with a human, there is a game going on, and it turns out that these people in the end could end up buying something. So that's something a human can do, and a chatbot wouldn't be able to do that. And a human can deal with all these type of situations. So we bring other information, we help trolls, we bring smileys, and that's how we do conversation. In terms of personalization, you were saying that for you, it means that you can answer a question and add additional information. You can make a joke if you have to. Yes, absolutely. It's also about being able to say, no, that's not for you, or maybe you wait for 2 days because in 2 days there will be a promotion coming out. So it's also being a salesperson, because you have to sell the products, but also about helping people and supporting them. And when we know a client is going to make the right choice because he's going to buy such and such product, and if it works well, indeed, he's going to come back. So it's good. You're a salesperson. You know, you were talking about adding smileys. Pierre was saying before that it's quite interesting. At iAdvize, we have analyzed all the conversation that used iAdvize in 2016, in March 2016, and we realized that over 1 million conversations contained smileys. Some companies and some people don't like it. Yes, I absolutely love them. But David, you were saying that indeed it was about the tone and the personality of Air France to ban smileys. Well, let's say I don't want to ban them, but on the Air France website we have two parts: the Air France pages and the Flying Blue pages. Flying Blue, it's our loyalty program, and it's true that on the Air France pages, related to what we were saying before, authenticity, promise, values of Air France, the history of Air France, I believe today that we have targets, but someone who is going to travel first class, if I say a smiley, winky face, enjoy your trip, it's not possible. It's a high type of product, it's quite a budget, it's an experience. The client is going to want to enjoy this experience with excellency, luxury, and the first class for Air France, it's a luxury class, and for me there is no way a professional agent would chat and add a smiley to this conversation, even if the client might want it, but because of the brand, out of respect for the brand, it is not going to be possible today. But on the Flying Blue pages, it's a bit different. We have a loyalty program that is related to the global Air France customer experience. I know that for Flying Blue clients, we interact with agents, and together we decided that it would be okay for them to have a more casual tone. The population is a bit different. We make our clients more loyal. By doing so, we want to adapt to the tone their clients are using. So you adapt to the client. Yes, we adapt to the client a lot more on Flying Blue than on Air France. On Air France, as I was saying before, it's the respect of the promise. If tomorrow I add smileys everywhere, it's going to be disruptive. And I might lose clients rather than make them more loyal. What about post people? Are they allowed to wink? Yes, they are. But on the online part, so on Twitter, Facebook, or on the chat today, we do not use smileys, but we are not against it because we're talking about emotions. And yes, smileys could help personalize the customer relation. But as I was saying before, we hear a lot about brands that are affinity type of brands talking to young people. But La Poste is quite a traditional company with high expectations, high trust issues. And we need to work with all of our clients. And we need to find the right balance, basically. We trained our agents recently, so we address our clients with the polite form in French, vous, but we are not going to prevent ourselves from sending a smiley. We are working on a better way to personalize the emojis. A client who received a client, everything went well, it's 2 weeks before Christmas, is very happy. Why not have a personalized emoji with a little mailbox, smile on it, and say, yeah, everything is working well. Don't worry, you will get your package before Christmas. But it is a topic. We talk about it with our web agents. We are La Poste. The post people are very committed. They're highly professional. And it's very difficult to find the balance. I have a bit of an anecdote to share. So about a year ago, a web agent on the website called me and said, I have a problem because there is a client who just sent me a message on Twitter. I don't know how to deal with it. I said, okay, send me the message. Let's take a look together. And it was a client that sent a picture of Justin Bieber that was shirtless with his abs, and he said, what about this one? Do you deliver it in less than 48 hours? And I was like, okay, what would you say? And she said, well, maybe if I would make a joke if I was not La Poste, but it was hard to find the right tone. And in that case, the client sends this kind of post. It was a joke to start with. It was around Christmas. So yes, in that kind of cases, we can use emojis. And it's about changing the personalization of this customer relationship. It's a conversation. It's a bit of a revolution for agents. When a few years ago we had tickets, now we have tools that enable to manage conversation. We have a new tool for social. Conversation between public messages and private messages are not easy to manage for everyone. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I've been in the customer relationship business for a long time. We no longer have tickets. Now we are in the conversation era, and we can follow a conversation from one day to the next, and a conversation never stops. It is quite hard to find the right balance between conversational with all the instant messaging tools. We are talking the same way we are talking with our family, our friends. When do we chat? It's on Saturday and Sunday. It's with chats, with emojis, and it's not easy to transfer that to a customer relationship. It's not easy, but sometimes some customers expect that familiarity. I'm going to go back to what you were saying based on a question that was asked on Klaxon. Simon, you were saying that you make about 100 euros a week. A question that was asked is, can you be authentic if you're paid? Yes, I think so, because we are here to help clients. We don't know ahead of time if they're going to be paid or not. And if you were too pushy, if you're trying to urge them to buy a product, then they would see it right away. They would see right through us. So my job is more to give the best advice, and then I see that I get money out of it. So I've been an expert since December, so I know that I can make more or less 100 euros a week. and it does not influence the quality of my help, the help I provide to the customer. And yes, based on what was said, I don't use smileys. Well, let's say I use only soft smileys, so smile, sad, wink, that's about it, because I don't think we can get any further than that. I say vous to my customers, which is the French polite way of saying you. And yes, because I want to give this high quality type of advice. I don't think there should be too many smileys, that there should be in every kind of conversation. I'm in video games, so it's a lot simpler, and I usually chat with people who relate pretty well to that type of way of speaking. So you were saying that you don't have the money in mind, but you know that if you give good pieces of advice, then it will have an impact. Yes, but there are a lot of things that have an impact. In March, so it was the new Nintendo Switch that was very highly expected, and it was a great month. And sometimes there were only 3 or 4 sentences that had to be said to a customer, and it was sold. Today it's sold out; you can't find it anywhere. So it really depends on a lot of things. It's the beginning of the month, the end of the month. There are new games being launched. So I really try to keep posted about what's going on the Cdiscount page, video game page, and try to give my support, my advice because of that. How do you measure the impact of authenticity? When we look at the impact of authenticity, we know that it has an impact on loyalty, on recommendation, on commitment. And at La Poste, what do you try to measure? Do you try to measure anything? Yes, we try to measure because it's our job, so we try to measure things. So we try to measure customer satisfaction. We also try to measure NPS because we start, it's difficult for us because we start measuring things online, but the clients usually start online, then move to a physical shop. So it's kind of hard for us. Self-care, of course, we measure all the clients that came to the Safe Care and who wanted to have an actual conversation with an agent. And this enables us to realize what we missed about automation. And then in terms of support in the purchase funnel, it's conversion rate and the incremental turnover. So lots of KPIs, but authenticity is not really measured. And it's not going to be measured in the future because when we start a conversation, we no longer have the right tools, we no longer have the right KPIs to follow and to keep track of what's going on. Because the conversation will never really stop because the client will have the thread of the conversation in Messenger, and you will have all the backlog of the conversation. So there will not be an end to a conversation. Another question from Klaxon. Are you still in a semantic analysis type of logic to try and analyze the words that are used in a conversation? Yes, we look at all the transcript of conversations. We have the post-contact survey after every interaction with the client, and then we have the experience post, where we have plenty of data, plenty of transcript that are used to improve, because we are on an ongoing improvement phase. And how do you improve to make a better customer relationship? How do you improve the trip of the visitor on the website? And we also want to look at the transcript of the conversation from the agents, because we want to improve the way the agents answer the questions, because it's a logic of conversation, so it's two ways. Because we will have chatbots tomorrow, because we have all of our history of conversation. At iAdvize, we have over 3 years of conversations, and all of this transcript are being worked on in order for us to be able to base our artificial intelligence to prepare our chatbots for tomorrow, all the workflow and all of that will be the base of our work tomorrow. So all of this conversation enables us to know what are the questions that our clients have, what are the answers that generated the highest satisfaction rate, and that will help us prepare the automation for tomorrow. There was another question about how long it takes to prepare a chatbot. You're saying that you've been preparing it for 3 years without even realizing it. No, we haven't been doing it for 3 years. What I was saying is that we have a mass of data that is good matter for us to prepare the automation level when we want to move to the level 1. But chatbots, I have no idea how long it takes to prepare one, because we are at the very, very beginning of our process. And I think the beginning is the most difficult part, actually, because we have to find the right use and the right way to use it. So we're working on that, but usage also come from conversations. By looking at conversation that we realize what kind of automation would be useful. For instance, our chatbot needs to be paired with the information system, because I will only have added value if I can get an order number or a parcel number to be able to help the client. We are really trying to find the right use, and when we think we are getting there, we have the question, okay, that's the right use, but if I want to add value, what do I need to find? What is the additional piece of information that I will need to be able to generate added value and to give the client the right answer, the answer they're expecting? David, where are you at in terms of measuring satisfaction, authenticity in conversation? So it's the same. We have looked at transcript a lot. We have a service, a quality of service that is looking at all the transcript thanks to the iAdvize chat and all the surveys forms that we have. So we also measure this type of satisfaction. We try to measure the satisfaction, loyalty and recommendation thanks to the NPS, and measuring authenticity. So we use tools. We try to segment authenticity, but measuring authenticity is a bit difficult to do. I mean, it does not really match with authenticity. So we have our Flying Blue program, thanks to which we do acquisition, and we can check the reliability of our service based on our promises. How many clients do we get back thanks to the loyalty program? How many people travel? How do they travel? We can measure that. And the NPS, thanks to our recommendation. We spend more and more time on looking at conversations afterwards. I wanted to add something, not getting into the symmetry of attention topic that was dealt with before. We check, we don't measure, but we monitor the feedback from our collaborators, our web advisors, because it's also about them being satisfied. It's quite interesting to notice, because it's almost scientific. If the agent is happy, the client will be happy, and the other way around. We don't know which one comes first. But if we have channels where we have higher interaction, where we don't really measure very specific APIs once and all, if it's very fluid, if it's very authentic, the client is happy, then the collaborator is happy. And when we add new contact channels, quite innovative ones, we realize that satisfaction measures go up. And today we realize that when the chat falls, when there is a shortage or when we have priorities in production, we say, okay, for 1 hour, we don't use the chat because there are other channels that are priority. We realize that, and everybody says, no way, chat is great. We love chat, it's conversation. We can't wait for Facebook Messenger to arrive. We can't wait to start chatting on Messenger. And we realize that it's not just sugarcoating, it's true. Authenticity can be measured because our agents are happy, because there is kind of a synergy between the client and the agent. When a client rates a conversation 9 out of 10, it's pretty sure that the agent will rate the same. And we see that there are matches, that it matches all the time. We know that some channels are being left out, for instance, the web form. And when we go on the field, people say, when are we going to make this shift? Because we'd rather all the contacts to arrive thanks to the chat. And there is always a difference between self-care and human, because self-care deals with 80% of the level 1 type of level when it works well. When we move towards a conversation with an agent, we want to make sure that it's synchronous, real time, and with authenticity, because we have already dealt with all the process, level 1 process, thanks to the Le Petit Compagnon and the chatbot. Even for the chatbot, isn't it a competitor for agents, for internal agents? Are they happy to see it coming? Well, let's say we are going to start with the chatbot outside of working hours to see how it works. For self-care today, everybody realizes that there's no point in answering a level 1 type of question, where is my parcel, when a chatbot could do it. There is no added value. Or we're going to give you money back if, or we're going to give you some money back if the information comes directly from a bot and that gives the money back. We don't really want to call a contact center to get this kind of information. You don't want to have a conversation for that. Today, to go back to the same question, they are very happy to have this same channel, to have a level 1 that's automated to focus on these kind of conversations. And they are very happy to say we moved from a ticketing tool to another tool that will not deal with tickets but with conversations. It's very interesting and it really adds value to have this permanent conversation with the client. I just wanted to add something about the tone. When we know that it's a bit difficult, we have to be very careful with the tone we use with our clients. Since July, we launched the community chat that enables us to have a freedom of speech that we didn't have before, a freedom of tone that the agents, professional agents, didn't have. So we still have the expertise because we recruited the members of this community, and today those people can have a more familiar tone with the clients because they are together, and usually it's outside of working hours for professional agents. So we have to adapt to the freedom of tone, and it works very well for us. And it is something that was welcomed very well by professional agents and community agents. To be authentic on the outside, you have to be authentic on the inside. That's what we heard, right? The agents, the community, EBU experts, what do you implement to make sure that all of these respondents are aligned? How to make sure that the tones, personalization is aligned? To make sure that authenticity is embodied, not imposed. Well, we have guidelines based on this conversation with the client that are shared with all the professional agents, and very regularly we organize trainings. Trainings are proposed by Air France to offer this authenticity, to remind the agents of this authenticity, and our colleagues, us, want to be to propose new things, to offer new things. Our keyword is motivation. Hashtag motivation, you can see it on our website. Internally, it's about being motivated together while embracing our values, and that will enable us to share the values out on the outside. The company changed a lot. I've been there for over 20 years. We can see new practices coming up. We can see that there is a new way to federate our agents internally to have a single voice, let's say. In one word, at La Poste, we have the oath. So all the postmen and postwomen take an oath when they enter in the company, when they enter La Poste, and we try to adapt this oath. Recently, we had a data charter, and the oath integrated this data aspect. So the post people today include trust, confidentiality about data. So all of these trust, proximity values are part of this oath, and it can evolve. That's for the macro part of the company. And about contact centers, they are permanent training. We have a charter, as we were saying before, about attitude and semantic on social networks, but nothing is better than case by case. It's very hard to give guidelines. We work with a company that has a collaborative space where agents can ask questions, the trainer can answer. We have coaching that can provide answers case by case when people don't know if they have to have a lighter tone or if they have to stay very professional. Simon, you're the new type of respondent. I'm going to let you conclude. Do you receive any guidelines? How do you deal with them if you get them? Do you step out of the framework a little bit? Yes, I do. Cdiscount and IBU give us some type of answers, not automatic ones, but answers that can be provided to specific questions. So I use them, but I'm making them my own, and I sometimes start answering outside of the guideline to move back to the guideline later, because the answers are created internally, whether by IBU or Cdiscount, but for us who are directly in touch with people and who understand directly what are their problems, we can personalize the answers in the most appropriate way. And we can be usually faster, and we can make them understand what the problem is right away. So I use the guidelines for politeness, to make sure that the main markers of customer relationship is maintained. But I also have my own answers, my own personality that I've built with Cdiscount and in my experience. Thanks a lot, all three of you, and I hope that next year Chanel will be replaced by La Poste Air France. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.